Istanbul, a city that just oozes history and culture. You're about to dive right in.
It really is a place where East meets West. You can feel it in the air.
Yeah. And your list of top 10 things to do in Istanbul, that's like the ultimate starting point.
Absolutely.
So in this deep dive, we're going to break it all down, give you those insider tips, help you really make the most of your trip.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's jump right in. First up, the Hagia Sophia. Gotta ask, how do you even begin to describe a place like that?
It's one of those places that just takes your breath away. I mean, you read about it in history books.
Right.
But to actually stand there under that massive dome,
Yeah.
it's awe-inspiring. First built as a cathedral in the 6th century by the Byzantines, then a mosque, now a museum. Talk about layers of history.
It's a history buff's dream, for sure. And a photographer's dream, too, from what I've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so practical tip from your top 10 list. Arrive early.
Can't stress that enough, especially if you want those iconic shots without a sea of people.
Good point. And speaking of incredible architecture, we've got to talk about the Blue Mosque. I mean, the name alone just evokes this feeling of beauty and tranquility.
And it lives up to its name, those blue Iznik tiles inside. Stunning.
They really are something else. And it's interesting, both the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque are mosques, obviously, but their architectural styles are so different.
Right. The Hagia Sophia, that's classic Byzantine, the soaring dome, the grandeur. The Blue Mosque, that's Ottoman architecture at its finest, built in the 17th century, designed by Mimar Sinan.
Oh, I've heard of him.
He was a genius. Anyway, those cascading domes, the slender minarets, it's all about light and space.
Okay, 2 architectural marvels down, and I'm already feeling overwhelmed in the best way possible. Let's keep this history train rolling with the Topkapi Palace. Now, this isn't just a palace. It was the heart of the Ottoman Empire for centuries.
The seat of power, intrigue, you name it. Imagine walking through those opulent rooms, the courtyards, the harem.
It's like stepping back in time. But before we all get lost in the Ottoman Empire, a little practical tip. The top 10 list recommends booking your tickets online to skip the line.
Saves you so much time, especially during peak season.
Smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready for a change of pace? From the grandeur of palaces to the hustle and bustle of the Grand Bazaar, it's sensory overload in the best way possible, right?
Imagine a labyrinth of alleys bursting with color, the sense of spices and leather hitting you from every direction.
Yeah, the energy there must be incredible.
It's a world unto itself, and it's been around for ages, dating back to the 15th century. Think textiles, ceramics, spices, you name it, they've got it.
It's amazing to think that something like that has survived for so long.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, any bargaining tips for us clueless tourists?
Oh, we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about the Spice Bazaar. Because if you think the Grand Bazaar is a feast for the senses, the Spice Bazaar is next level. Get ready to be hit with the aroma of saffron, cumin, all those incredible spices.
Oh man, I can practically smell it now. And what's this about sampling local delicacies? That's on my to-do list for sure.
Oh, you have to. Turkish delight. Have you ever had that?
I've heard of it, but honestly never tried it.
You're in for a treat. It comes in all these different flavors: rose water, pistachio, pomegranate.
Wow, okay, now I'm really intrigued.
And don't forget the Turkish coffee. Strong, flavorful. It's an experience.
Sounds like it. I might need a double shot after all this exploring. Speaking of which, Suleimani Mosque is next on the list. That's a bit less famous, maybe, than the Hagia Sophia, but still incredible, right?
Oh, absolutely. If the Hagia Sophia is about Byzantine grandeur, Suleymaniye is pure Ottoman elegance, designed by Mimar Sinan,
Wait, the same architect as the Blue Mosque?
the one and only. He was incredibly prolific, but this mosque is considered one of his masterpieces. The dome, the light, the sense of serenity when you step inside, it's really something special.
It's amazing how these buildings aren't just, pretty to look at. They hold so much history, so much meaning.
Exactly. They tell a story. And speaking of stories, let's move on to the Bosphorus Strait. The waterway that divides Istanbul connects Europe and Asia.
Okay, I'm picturing it now, the Bosphorus cruise, right? Sunset, the city skyline in the background.
It's iconic. But as you're enjoying the view, remember, this strait has witnessed so much history. Empires have risen and fallen on these waters.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. It's like every place in Istanbul has these hidden layers.
Absolutely. And to really appreciate the city, you have to dig a little deeper, look beyond the surface.
Love that.
Huh.
Okay, so after our cruise, we're heading to the Galata Tower, which, if I'm not mistaken, offers some pretty amazing views itself.
Oh, definitely. Panoramic views of the entire city. And the best part, you can take an elevator to the top.
Music to my ears after all that walking we'll be doing.
Yeah.
But even though the views are modern, I'm guessing the tower itself has some stories to tell.
Oh, tons. It dates back to the 14th century, but there are even legends about a guy who tried to fly across the Bosphorus from the tower using artificial wings. Yep. Back in 17th century, he didn't quite make it, but hey, it's the thought that counts, right?
I guess so. Okay, so we've covered the iconic landmarks, but your list also has some intriguing hidden gems, right? Places that most tourists maybe don't know about.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
So spill the beans. What's the first hidden gem on our list?
First up, we're stepping back in time to Dolmabahce Palace, but with a twist.
Ooh, a twist. You know I love a good plot twist, especially when it comes to architecture.
This isn't your typical Ottoman palace. Think more along the lines of European extravagance.
Okay, now you've got my attention. European extravagance. In the heart of Istanbul. Tell me more.
Instead of the intricate tiles and geometric designs, you'll find dazzling chandeliers, soaring ceilings, a blend of Baroque and Rococo styles that'll transport you straight to a European palace.
Wow, that's quite the departure from the Topkapi Palace.
Right. Dolmabahce Palace reflects a period of modernization in the Ottoman Empire, where they were really embracing Western influences.
So it's like a blend of East meets West, but in a completely different way. See, this is why I love Istanbul. There's always something new to discover.
Exactly. Each corner you turn reveals another layer of history, another cultural influence. But if you're looking for a break from the city buzz, the next hidden gem is for you.
Hit me with it. I'm ready for a change of pace.
We're setting sail for the Prince's Islands in the Sea of Marmara.
Prince's Islands. That sounds charming. Tell me more.
Imagine this, a cluster of 9 islands, each with its own unique character, but all sharing this air of tranquility and old world charm.
Okay, I can already feel myself relaxing. What's the vibe like on these islands?
Think charming villages, horse-drawn carriages instead of cars, and stunning waterfront promenades perfect for a leisurely stroll.
It sounds idyllic. A world away from the hustle and bustle of the city.
It really is. Plus, the seafood is incredible. Picture yourself enjoying fresh-caught fish at a waterfront restaurant with the Istanbul skyline in the distance.
Okay, you've convinced me. Prince's Islands it is. But before we wrap up, there's one more experience we need to talk about. The traditional Turkish bath, or hammam.
Ah, the hammam, a quintessential Istanbul experience.
I have to admit, I'm equal parts intrigued and clueless. I mean, what exactly happens in a hammam? Do I need to bring anything? What's the etiquette?
Don't worry, I've got you covered. First, you'll be enveloped in this warm, steamy haven of relaxation. Then you'll change into a pestimel, which is a traditional wrap.
Okay, so far so good.
And then comes the best part. You'll lie on a heated marble platform called a göbek taşı, and you'll be treated to an invigorating scrub and massage by an attendant.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that you mention it, a massage sounds pretty amazing after all the exploring we'll be doing.
Right, it's the perfect way to unwind and immerse yourself in Turkish culture.
This whole deep dive has been an incredible journey. From iconic landmarks to hidden gems, we've uncovered so many amazing experiences.
Istanbul is a city that truly has it all.
It really does. But as much as we've talked about, I have a feeling there's still so much more to discover.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the beauty of Istanbul, isn't it? It keeps calling you back for more. So as you plan your trip, remember, don't just see the city, feel it.
Love that. Wander its streets, savor its flavors, and embrace the unexpected.
And who knows, you might even stumble upon your own hidden gem.
Now, wouldn't that be an adventure? And on that note, we'll leave you to explore the magic of Istanbul.
Happy travels!
For all the links and resources mentioned in this episode, be sure to check out our show notes. They're jam-packed with everything you need to plan your dream trip to Istanbul.